You would think if the Israeli government is only going to war with Hamas, that there wouldn't be 17,000 plus people dying, um, most of them being like women and children. Lots of babies have been killed by the Israeli government. I doubt these babies are Hamas soldiers.
Rafah after an early morning airstrike. You can see all the destruction there, and it was said that this was a safe area. There are no safe areas. Every place is exposed to shelling and destruction. The UN says 1.9 million Gazans have now been displaced. Thousands are now arriving in Rafah every day. The Israeli military has designated it one of their safe zones, but they are filling up, and they're not that safe. Already, meagre supplies are being stretched even thinner. Food shortages are now a real concern. Since the temporary truce collapsed, aid from Egypt has slowed to a trickle. From the main UN agency for the Palestinians, there were more dire warnings of the worsening conditions.
The pace of the military assault in southern Gaza is a repeat of the assault in northern Gaza, that it has made no place safe for civilians in southern Gaza, which had been a cornerstone of the humanitarian plan to protect civilians and thus to...
That's because the Israeli government has never had any plans to not kill Palestinian civilians. This is what the Israeli government has always been wanting to do. It's what Bibi Netanyahu talks about. It's what the other ministers talk about. It's what the media talks about. Killing Palestinians and killing as many as possible.
to provide aid to them.
Further north, there is still intense fighting in and around Gaza City.
The resistance fighters are still running the battle of Al-Aqsa flood for the 62nd day with wisdom and power. They defend the Palestinian people, Al-Quds and Al-Aqsa Mosque, inflicting on the Israeli army heavy losses.
Jabalia and Shajaya camps were hit from the air, and there were reports of fierce gun battles on the ground. Israel says it struck Hamas targets, but despite the warnings, thousands of civilians are still there.
In the north, we have also seen intense fighting between IDF forces and Hamas forces in Jabalia and Shaja'iyah, which have been completely encircled. We have broken through their defensive lines, and those terrorists are now emerging from their underground tunnels to engage our men in close combat.
I wonder why the United States government always has a hard time talking about the terrorism by the Israeli settlers, the people given money and guns by the Israeli government to go and kill Palestinians on their land and take it over. Is that not considered terrorism?
Further south, this was the aftermath of an airstrike on Khan Yunis. Palestinians say a residential building was hit, with dozens of civilians injured and many thought to be trapped beneath the rubble. Israel says its troops are now everywhere in Gaza, including Khan Yunis, and surrounding the house of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. He is thought to be sheltering underground. Israel says it wants him dead or alive, part of its plan to destroy Hamas and its leadership. But thousands of civilians are still caught in the middle. Simon McGregor